Good day, everyone. Please watch my video presentation about what is telescope, what is the use of telescope, and who invented telescope. So, here we go.
How does a telescope work? What is a telescope? A telescope is an amazing device that has ability to make a faraway object appear closer. It is used by an astronomer to seek new planets, new stars, new galaxies, and do other research about the universe. Who invented the first telescope? In 1608, a lens maker named Hans Lefaucheux invented the first telescope. After his invention, the scientist named Galileo Galilei used his design in 1609. With the invention of his amazing instrument, our knowledge of the universe has grown. Reflector telescope. A refractor telescope is basically a long tube with magnifying lenses at both ends. At the far end of the telescope is a concave lens called objective lens, which draws the light and focuses it on one point. The eyepiece has convex lens, which magnifies the tiny point of the light over the large area. The distance between these two sets of lenses can be changed to focus on the image and make it clear. What actually happens when you put a telescope to your eye is the light from the outside hits the far lens along the image you are looking at. As this light passes through the tube and hits the lens nearest your eye, the image is magnified so that it takes up more space in your retina. This makes the object appear to be larger and closer. The Hubble Space Telescope. Did you know that stars twinkle because the path of light from stars is obstructed by so many things, including our atmosphere? Without it, you would be able to observe the distant galaxies perfectly. In April 1990, with the help of a space shuttle known as Discovery, the Hubble Space Telescope was sent to outer space. It was positioned on the Earth's lowest orbit, so it could take detailed photographs of Earth and deep space around. There have been 4 different missions sent to maintenance and repairs on this modern marvel that has allowed us to see the wonderful planet we live on from afar. Project. The Hubble telescope has given us some of the most amazing pictures of space. Find images of the following deep space event by using an internet search engine: the birth of the star, the Crab Nebula, the heart of the Milky Way, the Pillar's creation, the Mystic Mountain of the Carina Nebula.
Good day everyone, I am Noreen Victoria Bukayan and I am going to report about internet and elaborate its purpose and contribution to the development of scientific innovation.
What is internet? The internet is a global network of computers that work much just like postal system, all at a sub-second speed. Just as postal service enable people to send one another involves continuing messages, the internet enabled computer to send one another small packets or digital data. Who invented the internet? Fenton Curve, and Bob Gatt are credited with inventing the Internet communication protocols. Why is Internet invented? The Internet was first invented for military purposes and then expanded to the purpose of communication among scientists. The invention also came about part of the increasing need for computer in 1960s. How does the Internet works? The Internet is made up of a massive network of a specialized computer called router. Each router's job is to know how to move packet along from their start to their destination. There are many uses of Internet, like electronic mail, research, downloading files, discussion group, interactive games, education and self-improvement, friendship and dating, electronic newspaper and magazine, job hunting, and shopping. Internet has played an active role in user access to information and community involvement. Mass media is a major route of science communication. Internet, due to the spread of unique strength and strong communication ability, is more prominent in mass media.
The invention of cell phone began in around 1918 when German railroad operators began testing wireless telephones in their train cars. In 1925, Zug Telephony AG was founded as a supplier of mobile telephone equipment for use in trains. The following years saw the first public introduction of wireless telephones for first-class passengers on major rail lines between Berlin and Hamburg. The Second World War saw major advances in radio technology, with handheld radio transceivers coming into widespread use for military purposes. In the 1940s and 1950s, companies started offering mobile telephone system for automobiles to the public, but the system came with a serious drawback. They required a lot of power, had limited coverage, and the network weren't able to support more than a few active connections at the time. In response to the growing demand for better mobile telephony, AT&T Bell Labs went to work. They introduced their mobile service in 1946, called the Mobile Telephone Service. The service was slow to take off. The system required an operator at a switchboard to set up a connection, and the user had to push the button to talk and let go of it to listen. The service was also expensive. The number of channels available for active connections remained limited to as little as 3 channels in some places. As late as 1976, Bell Systems mobile network in New York could host just 545 subscribers. Bell Labs engineers were working on the new system that could improve the efficiency of these channels. Douglas Ring and W. Ray Young proposed the idea of a network of cells to help manage the reuse of channel and reduce interference as early as 1947. However, the technology just wasn't there at the time. It would be another couple of decades before a pair of Bell Labs engineers would build this concept of cells into a more detailed plan for a mobile telephone network for automobiles. By this time, AT&T had already pushed the Federal Communication Commission to make more of the frequency spectrum available for radio telephones to use, providing more channels for them to use. Other significant development in 1970s enabled automatic cell switching and signaling systems, but all of these developments were put to use. Developing mobile phones and automobiles it would take an upstart to give us the first cell phone. Indeed, it wasn't until the 1970s that engineers at Motorola produced the working prototype for the first real cell phone. On April 3, 1973, Motorola's Marty Cooper would place the first public cell phone call in history. It would be another decade of development before Motorola cell phone, the world first made it to the market and forever changed how we communicate.
Large Hadron Collider and Benzene Ring discoveries and its contribution to scientific development.
Hello everyone, I am JRS Abisha and I am going to discuss about what is gravity is. So let's watch this. Gravity is a force of attraction that exists between any two masses, any two bodies, any two particles. Gravity is not just the attraction between objects under Earth, it is an attraction that exists between all objects everywhere in the universe. An invincible force that pulls objects towards each other, Earth's gravity is what keeps you on the ground and what makes things fall. Sir Isaac Newton was an English mathematician and physicist who lived from 1643 to 1727. The legend is that Newton once discovered gravity when he saw a falling apple while thinking about the force of nature. Also called gravitation in mechanics, the universal force of attraction acting between all matter, it is by far weakest known force in nature and thus plays no role in determining the internal properties of everyday matter. It controls the trajectories of bodies in the solar system and elsewhere in the universe and the structures and evolution of stars, galaxies, and the whole cosmos.
Good day everyone, I am Mary May Montalba Timbal. I am going to report about microscope and elaborate its purpose and contribution to the development of scientific innovation.
What is microscope? Microscope allow humans to see cells that tiny to see with the naked eye. Micro means very small. Scope means to look at. How does it work? Unlike a telescope, a microscope must gather light from a tiny specimen that is close by. So the microscope does not need a large objective lens. Instead, the objective lens of a microscope is small. Then the image is again magnified by a second lens, called an eyepiece, as it is brought to your eye. Hans Lippershey and Zacharias Janssen. Hans and Zacharias Janssen were the first to invent the compound microscope, two lenses, to be dated in the 1590s. The father and son team worked together as spectacle makers in Middelburg, Holland. Galileo Galilei. In 1609, Galileo, father of modern physics and astronomy, heard of these early experiments, worked on the principles of lenses, and made improvements. Galileo Galilei perfected the first device known as microscope. He developed a compound microscope and he called it the occhiolino or little eye. The importance of the microscope. The invention of the microscope has opened up a whole new dimension in science. By using microscopes, scientists were able to discover the existence of microorganisms, study the structure of cells, and see the smaller parts of plants, animals, and fungi. Today, the microscope is still a common use tool to diagnose illnesses in hospitals and clinics all over the world. Since their original invention, microscopes have moved beyond simple visible light refracting lenses. Electrons, X-rays, and infrared rays are used by far sophisticated and expensive microscopes to detect even smaller and smaller structures. Scanning electron microscopes are able to resolve viruses, which are far smaller than any cell.
Good day everyone, and especially to you, ma'am. So today let's talk about the purpose of radio and how it contributes to the science. The purpose of radio. As well all know, radio today was used for fun, entertainment, as well as communication. Guglielmo Marconi, the one who invented radio, it all started with the discovery of electromagnetic waves, proved the feasibility of radio communication. He sent his first radio signal in Italy. He flashed his first wireless signal across the England Channel, and 2 years later was telegraphed from England to Newfoundland, now Canada. And this is his first successful radio telegraph message. They mainly use radio for ship-to-shore communication and ship-to-ship communication. How radio contribute to science? Electromagnetic waves, or that have the capacity to transmit music, speech, pictures, and other data invisibly through the air. Example of technologies in electromagnetic waves are radio, microwaves, cordless, phones, remote controls, toys, television, and more. And also later on, they invented the intensity of waves, the AM and FM, and the antennas for sending signals more than a mile. This helps to answer the needs of people, especially in.
Good day, good morning everyone. What is food processing? Food processing and preservation. Food processing is transformation of agriculture products into food, one of the form of food and to other forms of food. Processing includes many forms of the processing food, from the breeding, grain, meat, raw. Food processing dates back of the prehistoric eats, weed, road processing, incorporated, fermenting, sun drying, preserving with salt, and various types of cooking such as roasting, smoking, steaming, and oven. Such basic of the processing involved. Chemical is immediately seen of the basic structure of food. Its natural form of well-served valve barrier against the surface microbial activity was caused. Some examples: freezing, freezing is the food processing method, preserving food by lowering of the temperature in habit microwaves through boiling heating. Is the process of applying hot water until the temperature reaches about 100 degrees Celsius. Boiling cold water cannot completely destroy of the microwaves, but the salting preserving food that was more common for modern refrigerator. Salting prevents food moving water out of food, preventing bacteria growing and spoiling food. The food is ruined. Sugaring. Sugaring is the food preservation method similar to pickling. Sugaring is the process desiccating that first rehydrating in the beginning. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Ryan Ibaculanta from BIS IT 2B. My reporting topic is all about guns. If we hear the word guns, piste,